I just built a fully personalized onboarding system for my membership using Claude Code in like 30 minutes. No developer, no Typeform subscription, no manual work. Every single new member gets a custom welcome email with resources from my school membership picked just for them. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to build this yourself using Claude Code, even if you're a non-technical founder like me. And if you're new here, I'm Brooke. I own Wright Mode, an AI consultancy and education business, and I help women who have non-technical backgrounds scale their businesses using AI and automations without the tech overwhelm. All right, let's get into this build. All right, I already know that I have the best AI community for women who want to grow their businesses using AI and automation. But I have big plans for this membership this year, and part of that is to make this membership super, super sticky. So I'm going to show you how to use Claude Code as a beginner, non-technical founder like me, and to create this super sticky onboarding process for my members. So first up, we just want to open Claude Code. And so I use this in Cursor, which is called an IDE, which is basically just a way to host Claude Code outside of the terminal. So if I open up the terminal here, this is what my terminal looks like. It's not very nice, right? Cursor looks like nicer, I guess. And so this is why you will hear a lot of people using Cursor, VS Code, or even anti-gravity. And so it's just a way to interact with Claude Code that isn't in the terminal. So first up, I'm going to show you how we open Claude Code. So you just go to the extensions here, and it's exactly the same for VS Code or Cursor. So you just want to open up this extension and yours will have install here. Just hit that. That's literally all you have to do. And then you will be prompted to log in via your Claude subscription, which you can just grab at claude.ai. So jumping back out now, the next thing you want to do is open up a new folder. So I've already got mine here, and it's called Sticky Membership, because what I want to do is make this the stickiest membership ever. And so all this is here is your folder from your desktop. So if we were to open a new one, you would just go new window and then open project. And so here I've got Sticky Membership, or you could create a new one here. Sweet. All right. And then as Claude is working, it will add files here, and you'll see me do that in a minute. Next up, we just want to open a Claude window. So we just hit show and run command and hit Claude Code. And then, yay, Claude is here. All right, before we jump into the actual building, I'm going to show you the workflow that I did to get here. So I actually had this idea as I was using Claude, not Claude Code, and I was like, oh, I really want to just redesign my membership. And just make sure that this is like as sticky and as amazing as it is. So let me just show you that full conversation now. So I'll just open up Claude here. And basically, I just voice noted into Claude what my goals are for the membership. And I also said that it is like a top 0.1% expert in membership retention. It has worked with people like Ali Abdul and Pat Flynn, because they are like membership gods, right? And then it was like, okay, we need to update your sales page. And so as part of that, I've actually got the Claude Chrome extension updating my sales page. So if you don't have that installed yet, you just can type in Claude Chrome extension, jump in here, and then you can just install it. So you can install this in your terminal, and you just copy and paste this here. And you can also just jump back here and go to the Chrome Web Store and get it. So I've got it here, and then it just lives up here. And then you can chat with Claude and it can do a whole bunch of stuff. So it's currently in another tab, just working on my sales page for me. Cool. All right. Next, what I did was like, okay, now we need to work on the onboarding. So I was like, I want to make this super sticky when people get onboarded. So what do we do? And so Claude's like, we need to have those quick wins straight away. Sweet. So we kind of iterated through this, and I was like, do we need a Google form or something? And it was like, let's do Typeform. It's really nice. And I was like, yeah, but I don't want to make another subscription. So can we just build that in Claude Code? And it was like, yeah, we can. Let's do that. And it's like, I will build out the prototype. And to be fair, you could start all of this iteration in Claude Code. It was just that I was working in Claude in the browser for something, and I was like, let's just run with this. So that's why I have it in the browser at the moment and then taking it over to Claude Code. You could honestly just do this in Claude. You would just jump down here and we just want to hit /plan. And then that makes it go into plan mode, or you can even do tab as well and get it in plan mode down here. And then all of that iteration would just happen here. But anyways, I started in the browser, and so that's where we went. So then I gave it my brand colors and was like, let's test this out. And so it created this interactive intake form that's kind of designed like a type. And I was like, I don't like the rocket emoji anywhere. And we kind of went back and forth on what that form needed to be. And then let me show you now what that looks like. And it just created this as an artifact. And if you don't know what artifacts are, it's just like an interactive document for that Claude makes. So they can be like, docx documents, or they can be like these HTML pages that you can actually publish to. And I do have a full lesson on how to use artifacts in Claude to elevate your client experience. And that's all in my membership over here, where you can grab all of that. If you join, and I will drop the link in the description below. But let's just jump back into here. Okay, so now we have the onboarding form, and I'm going to show you what that looks like now. All right, so this is the onboarding form that it has built. And so here is where you can publish these artifacts. So here is an example of, this is like a document, and here is this intake form. The reason I'm not publishing this and using this as my intake form is with these, they don't have a database, which means they don't store the information, which is why I'm taking it over to Claude Code to build it out. So if you want to send clients something like a resource pack, artifacts are great, and you just come over here and hit published, and it gives you a link that you can share with others. But for the purpose of this as an MVP for me to test is amazing, but I would not want to use this as there's no way to store the database, to store the responses. All right, so let's just test this now to see how it looks. So you can see it's really got like a type form. And we'll go here. Okay, I am an AI consultant. How am I using it? Let's go social media and content creation. And then it asks you what tools. Sweet. Awesome. And then it's just like, hey, you're all set, and then head to the community here. So that's like the MVP that we're now going to build out in Claude. And then what this does is it will take those answers, and based on that, it will provide people who have just signed up links to stuff in the classroom that is relevant to their answers. So as an example here, we tested this out. And so here's the fake member profile. So it's Jess. I'm a life coach for burnt out corporate women. AI level is dabbling. My time suck is creating content for Instagram, which like, aren't we all? And I spend like 3 hours every time. Win would be to stop dreading content creation and actually enjoy it. Sweet. And then Claude has like tested out the skill that it's creating with this so that we can see what that would look like. And so here is Jess's personalized email. And so the first time we did this, it was like, oh, I'm just going to give a prompt. And I was like, nah, we want more than prompts. We are path prompts. My members are path prompts. And so I was like, I have all of this content. So I have the classroom, I have my podcast. It's like, let's drive people to content that is relevant to them. And so how I did that was jumping into Google Gemini. I dropped in here and said, can you go to my YouTube channel and grab links and topics of videos that I have published, making it like a bit of a repo for me. And so why I use Gemini is because YouTube is owned by Google, it will like go and scrape my channel. And so here it has like grouped these for me. And then I was like, can you actually also do my podcast, which is on YouTube too? And so it's grouped all of these. And then I dropped that back into Claude and it was like, this is great. Just need to manually drop in the URLs for these. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that manually. So I came back over here and I was like, can you actually rewrite with full URLs so I can copy and paste? So then it's like pulled these group. This is like all content from my YouTube channel and the URL. So I was able to paste that back into Claude. So we come down here and I have pasted these with the links to Claude. And so this is what Jess's personalized email looks like now. It's like, hey, there's so much noise about AI, blah, blah, blah. Here's one thing you can do in like ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, whatever you're using. While you're at it, I did a podcast episode that I think you'll love related to content creation because remember, that was her pain point and it's linked it here. Then it's like on day 3, I'm going to do this. Day 5, expect this. And by day 7, you can expect this. That is like an instant win for my community without me having to like manually do this every time. Then what I told Claude was like, hey, I'm going to get Claude Code to build this now. So we need a handover document. And so it has created this document to give to Claude Code. Like, this is what I have built as the MVP, and here's what you need to build to make this an actual system. So let's do that now. I'm just going to copy this, and this is all in Markdown for Claude. And we've got our sticky membership over here. I'm in plan mode, which is perfect. And I'm just going to paste this in and let's see how we go. Okay, and so now Claude is just reading through these instructions and it's asking me here to read from my memory document, and I'm just going to say yes, allow. And so all of these commands here, you can hit yes, but it will like ask you all the time. So I'm just hitting yes, allow for this session, because these are like, it's just working through documents, reading, trying to get context. Let's just let it run wild. Okay, that took about minutes for it to go through, read all the documentation, go out and research what it needs to create this. And then it asked me a couple of questions. And one of them was like, hey, you forgot to paste in the Claude skill prompt. So I'll paste that in now. And it's just going to update the plan based on that as well. All right, so it's written this plan and let's just review it and see how it is. So it's designed it. Form is going to sit in Vercel. Got all the file structure here. This is talking through the front end. So it'll be like for the form, how it's going to build that out. And then here it's how it is going to receive those submissions. Like once someone fills out the form to trigger that email. And here's the email system. And so here, I actually don't know what resend is. So if we jump up here, so I'm just gonna ask it actually. This could actually just be built with N8N. So let's do that now. Hey Claude, I'm just a bit confused about resend account. We have to build it like this. Also keeping in mind that I work within N8N, these can be Gmail that are sent to the user. We just need to build the form, capture their email, and then build this automation essentially with Claude working in the background to pull the resources that are relevant to them as per the system prompt. And so the reason I'm showing you this is because automation and working with AI is honestly like 80 to 90% problem solving. So even though I gave it a good plan, the thing is I should have just worked with Claude Code to start with, but I transferred it out to build this. So that's why we've got a little bit of a disconnect here. And even though I gave it a good plan, it still need to like get clear and get on the same page. Okay, and so you can see here it's said that simplifies things a lot. I already have N8N and Gmail, so let's do that. Sweet, now we're on the same page and it's going to build out this plan again. All right, so now we've got a new plan. Let's read through it together. Okay, so now it's going to use N8N as the backend, and what's really cool is because I have the N8N MCP, it will just build this workflow for me. So the project's set up, and it's got my branding colors. It will create this form. And then once the form submission is sent, the N8N workflow starts. Sweet. All right, let's go and get that built. Okay, so this is building it out. And as you can see, it has created all of these files and folders now. And it's just going to get to work building this. And while it's doing that, I'm going to show you another way that you can use the Claude Chrome browser. So I have just logged into my school community and I'm just getting it to review the community posts from the last 2 weeks and just review engagement so that I know if I need to adjust my engagement strategy. As I said, I want this to be the best AI community for women. And so part of this is getting Claude to review what's working for me and highlight things that need improvement. All right, so it's given me a full breakdown of my high engagement posts, low engagement posts, and key patterns here for my engagement. And as I've been looking through this, MVP of our quiz is up and running. Sweet. And this is running with Playwright. So it's going to go through now and just test this all for us, which if you don't know what Playwright is, it's just like a browser MCP so that Claude can go and access and test things like this to make sure it's all working, the flow is fine, and then it'll come back and be like, yeah, it's good to go. Or if it picks up any issues, it will fix those. This is the world we're living in now. So that's all tested and working, and now it's going to build the N8N workflow for us. I love that it said here, this is a big file, the workflow with all 8 modes. You do your thing, Claude. I'm cheering you on. Okay, so that took a couple of minutes, and it has built this all out. So what's really interesting here is I have the GitHub MCP and also I think Vercel and N8N set up, and Claude is like, oh, you need to set these up. So I'm going to go now and tell it like, no, hey, you can push this to GitHub and you can also like create this workflow for me. Also, I really like here, so it's like less than a cent for Claude to run this. So while it is writing the N8N workflow, let's just publish this on GitHub. So I just want to hit add new project over here. And because it is linked to my GitHub, I just hit import, deploy. So easy. It's just going to build that now. It'll take a couple of minutes. All right, that took like a minute. Let's have a look at it. So first up, that's an error, but everything else looks pretty good. So I'm just testing everything now. Work. And the formed endpoint isn't configured. Okay, sweet. So just a couple of changes I need to let Claude. All right, we're in Vercel and we've just got to add a couple of things. So Claude has built this whole workflow in NAN2. Basically, when someone submits a form, this webhook will trigger and it'll generate the email and send them on day 1, day 3, and day 5. So all I need to do is set this up, which takes like a minute. So interestingly, it has used a HTTP request here instead of an Anthropic node. So I'm just going to delete that out and then just come over here and go Anthropic and then message model. And all of my credentials have been set up. And I'm just going to choose Sonnet because it's really good for writing, and then paste the prompt in here. Sweet. And just make sure my email accounts are set up. Sweet. Good to go. And I'll just hit publish. Jumping back into Vercel, let's test this whole workflow now. Sweet. And that will take me to the community. Amazing. That's all working. And let's see if this workflow triggered. So if we just jump back into NAN and hit executions, so you can see here now it's running and it's going to run through that Anthropic node, read my results, and send me a personalized email. Okay, so we can see here it's run through the model, it passed the results, and then sent an email. And if I just jump into my email, we can see that it is here. And it has linked out to the episodes. So good. All done in like 30 minutes. And now this is a super sticky membership onboarding process. Only thing I'm going to change here is I don't like the formatting. And so I'm just going to go back into Claude and say, hey Claude, this is the test email. You can see that the formatting isn't right. Can you update the code node to make sure it strips out the dashes and stuff? And it will go ahead and update that workflow for us, and this will be all set. Okay, so that was all fixed. Let's just open up my email now and have a look. So this formatting is much nicer and it's now linked to this. So that is good to go, and that will fire. If we have a look, we'll just jump back into the workflow. So it sends that instant email. It'll wait 2 days and then it'll send email 3 and then email 5. So this gives my members like clear wins straight up. And on day 3, they have another action, and on day 5, they have another action. So if you want to learn how to build systems like this and get the template for this workflow, make sure you join me inside the Wright Mode membership. I will drop the link for that in the description below, and subscribe so you don't miss any of these builds, and I will see you on the next video.